Vibe coding your game shader code. Everyone loves vibe coding, right? But what is vibe coding? It is simply tell a large language model or LLM like ChatGPT what you want to build, and the AI will figure it out. Basically, write all the code for you so you can focus on other parts of the game and makes the game faster. In general, if the LLM has been trained in the programming language and a similar problem, it should be able to create a solution quickly for you. Hopefully this time the output will be something that we want and works. For reference, more than a year ago I used ChatGPT to write some of the C# code, which at the end I had to write almost 100% myself because it was all garbage and did not work. So let's see this time with the new LLMs like ChatGPT 5 if this finally works or not. Last week I talked about how could I get to this image. With just a few shaders I reached this level, which looks a lot better than before. So let me share how I got there. Let me start with simple tasks and getting more and more complex. There are 3 tasks that I want to test and let the LLM solve these problems, one at a time. The first task should be very easy. When you start a fight, I wanted to display a dragon at the border of each fight area, so you know the boundaries of the fighting area, and I wanted to animate how it will appear on screen. Since I have already wrote the code, I will not ask the LLM to modify my full code, but just make a simple change. The problem that I have is that the dragon at this moment is stored in a full texture, in one image. So when the animation starts, the shader samples or picks pixels from that full image. But I want to put the same dragon image inside a texture atlas, like this. So there will be many other textures and perhaps add more animation frames in the future. So the LLM needs to modify my code to pick pixels from an area of the sprite in the atlas and not to pick or sample pixels outside the area. So I wrote all of this into ChatGPT 5. So this is what I got after a few seconds. The logic sounds okay. Pass the UV coordinates of the sprite and use it to clamp the sampling area, so it never goes beyond the dragon or any other sprite. But this only works if the dragon is positioned at 0,0 or the left top corner of the image. So let's ask again the LLM to do it, but take into consideration that it can be anywhere. Blah 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 blah. It explains why it fixes the issue, but it doesn't work again. Make it think again for longer time, and I got some other solution. Plug in all the parameters, and finally it worked. So ChatGPT was able to solve this problem. So I will give a win to ChatGPT by solving this task. So I think I could have written better code in half the time. So let's try now task number 2. For this I would like to add chromatic aberration, or slightly split apart RGB channels effect. So when you are hit, this effect is applied so you can easily feel that you were hit. And this is what I'm looking to see in game. So in this request, the solution is part of a larger question for many effects at the same time. When asking what extra effects can I apply to my game, this is the code that I got from ChatGPT. This code should be extremely easy to make, since the only thing it needs to do is sample each color channel shifted by some amount. After a few tries, I got what I was looking for. So this is also a win for ChatGPT. So I had to do very minor adjustments to the final code. I had to give ChatGPT some guidelines about the coding, but still output was good enough. So 2 tasks completed and 2 wins for ChatGPT. Task number 3 is divided in 2 parts. This task will create a depth buffer, so I can know how far are the pixels from the camera. So with that information, I can apply blur to those pixels close and far from the camera point of view to give this nice effect. So I started with this simple prompt. I wanted to create a depth of field shader with a little bit more details. That kind of works, but it doesn't output what I'm looking for. So I keep asking for more updates, and the more changes I requested, the more issues started to see. For this, I spent already 2 days trying to get it to work, with many issues from architecture perspective. Since this is not just straightforward shader, it encounters several architecture issues, and I was not fully able to find a solution. The main problem is that by default, if you use sprite batch, it automatically creates a depth buffer, but you are not able to access it, and it is not shared for other effects. It is only used for drawing sprites a proper position, and since I want to apply blur effect, I need to create my own depth buffer. After explaining this to ChatGPT, it came up with a solution. Because I was giving many wrong solutions, or solutions that started to change variable names, and other things in code, I had to start a new chat every time. It went off by a lot, and because there was not much depth difference, I encountered several precision issues, which ChatGPT was not able to give me a solution. So I ended up solving the first part of the shader by myself, since none of the solutions work after 3 days of trying, so this is a fail to ChatGPT. Then for the second part of this request to blur based on distance, I spent almost a day trying to fix it with ChatGPT. Just make it blur close pixels and far pixels, and keep a specific area in focus. But what I got from ChatGPT was blur front or blur back, but I could never find a way to blur both and kept the middle in focus. Finally, I gave up, frustrated because I knew the solution, but I wasted a day trying to make ChatGPT to write it for me. So this is a double fail to ChatGPT, and I wrote the fix in 5 minutes. I could have implemented this more complex shader in about 2 hours easily, instead of wasting so much time. Besides that, I felt frustrated that I did not know what it was doing behind. I tried to ignore the code provided by ChatGPT and let it fix it without me touching it, but it's not possible. One of the major problems I encountered is that ChatGPT kept changing from time to time the parameter names, so it broke again previous code that it wrote. I felt I was playing Russian roulette. Every question to adjust the code gave me sometimes a random new code with new variables and broke everything else, even if I asked it to not change the variable name. So we end up 2 versus 2, so it is a tie this time. Personally, I do not like to use it that much, only for ideas for things that I have trouble finding a solution, mainly to brainstorm or give a high-level skeleton. But for the implementation, I still prefer to write the whole code. Still, there are a few more tasks that I tried with ChatGPT that I have not included in this video, and those were a fail too. It did not create any working code, and I tried to let ChatGPT fix those, but those never work, and I will write the code myself later. So before closing this video, a few questions and answers from my side. From my personal experience, can it write code? Yes. Will it work as expected? Not always. Does it save time? Not really. I wasted more time debugging it. Will you write full code with it? Not today, and maybe not this year or the next. And that's it for this week. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to support my work, please click like and subscribe, and click on the notification bell so you do not miss my next update. Thank you so much for watching my journey. See you next week.